Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today we got...
Kyle McIntyre, back by popular demand.
Yep.
Brian's demand.
Yeah. So, Kyle, you were out last week.
Yeah. Still suffering through some of the sinus issues.
So it was allergies. It wasn't the...
Dude, yeah. I thought, dude, I swear.
The big 1-9.
Felt like the big, yeah. The big 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly felt like I got tested, and I'm good. At least when I got tested,
I'm clean, baby.
Yeah,
running clean.
I'm positive, baby. They said I was so positive.
But yeah, big thanks again to Joe from Just Surprise Me and Masters of the Cinematic Universe, and Eric Amaro from YouTube and Elm Effects for stepping in for the K-Man here. But Kyle's back. How you been?
Yeah,
it's been a couple
weeks.
Move
over, guys. Don't get too comfortable.
Yeah, you get
this is my chair.
Yeah.
Literally, the one I'm sitting in is mine.
So you were feeling shitty last week, but you're getting back into the swing of things.
So I was feeling bad. I was feeling like, just you read the symptoms of the big one. You're like, oh, that's me.
Yeah,
that's me. That's me. I haven't had taste since 2006.
Yeah. Have you ever heard my podcast or my band? I have terrible taste.
Evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I feel better, but I still feel like shit. I actually did take was it Monday off from work too, still, because I'm just like still hitting it with like the cold medicine just to try and clear up like the congestion, and I just feel like like the cocktail of shit I was taking.
Yeah. Just like give me everything, just like, make me feel
crossfaded on
yeah
taking uppers and downers, whiz bangers. Anyways, so here we are.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah. Yes, good question, Brian. My what's new? Yeah.
I was sick, and now I still kind of am sick, but not as much as I was before.
What's new with you?
That was supposed to burn 15 minutes. No.
Yeah, you're looking at the timer.
I like to have the schedule. I'm like, did you see this?
Yeah, there's a teleprompter. Read the teleprompter.
The script. The Tone Jerk script. But in that 2 weeks, did you do anything cool? Or I mean, because you weren't on the previous week, and then this last week,
yeah. So
it does feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. Like the 22nd of November, I think.
Yeah, but I like text you every freaking day still. So
stupid shit.
Stupid memes and stuff. My wife flew back a couple days ago, back to San Diego.
Yep.
But we're already talking about when she's coming back.
Yeah.
She's like, I got time still. I can take off from work. I'm like, all right, well, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Bet you won't.
Are you gonna do Christmas out there? Or are you gonna come out here?
I don't know. I think I'm tired of you guys out there, so yeah, I might just do with the kittens here.
Yeah,
that's all I need.
Just get a Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah, I pretty much already have one. Buy myself gifts, Mr. Bean style. Wrap everything.
Another
the teddy bear. Yeah.
Another Bass Pro Shop hat. Oh,
thanks for noticing. Actually, that's part of what's new. This one's brown.
Oh, you did get a new one.
Yeah, I got like 5 more. I was driving by. I'm like, let's swing in there.
Because you haven't caught a bass yet, right?
No. Well, no, I did. Caught a little fucker.
Little guy.
Little tiny fucker,
I should, for Christmas, get you one of those Billy Bass. The one of those the talking ones on the wall. I'd be like, hey, you see that? That would be pretty good. And then get
sings Elvis songs or like...
Yeah. And then get the motion censored thing, and then get the wood paneling up in the in the living room there.
Yeah, to complete the.
Your wife's gone for a couple months. She goes like, "What the fuck? You see
wood paneling with fake trophies?
Yeah,
like fake fishing trophies. I find at like a thrift store or something.
Yeah, you just find whatever trophies you can, and then like basketball ones,
soccer, the child soccer ones.
Yeah.
Where'd you get this? Oh man, I've been everywhere.
I was a champion.
That's from this year, though. It's like the 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Like the...
I'm young and hot. I'm young and hot.
Yeah. I'm going to kick that ball around. Yeah, so what's new with me? This is officially starting in my head. I went and jammed. I think I talked about it before. Maybe I did. Maybe just talking with you, but I jammed with the guy I met out here. He was, in the restaurants out here and in the fields. Mm-hmm. And jammed finally. We talked about it for a while. He got sick. He had to get like some operation, and now, so we jammed finally on Sunday. And then I was like dead sick the next day.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I just gave everyone the thing for Thanksgiving, and I was walking around like Walking Dead.
I thought you were like, I gave it all to the fucking music.
Yeah,
you just like my life force has drained me.
Yeah,
it's time to die.
Like
leaving it all on the dance
mist
floor.
coming out of, or the light coming out of my mouth.
Instead of leaving it all on the dance floor, you left it all in the garage, the jam room.
Yeah. So we jammed. Him and his brother kind of just play. They've always been in bands together.
Yeah. What did they play? What did you play?
They play like metal.
I guess instrument wise, but
instruments. I think he had. Well,
was he guitar and drums? Or
he was doing guitar. Yeah. He was
doing.
The brother was doing drums.
Oh, nice.
And Justin, he was doing a guitar. He was he had an interesting setup. He had like custom made like cabs, and dude, they had so many crazy things. They had like some of the PV Festival series stuff. Because his dad bought like a whole PA system, like a PVPA.
Yeah.
Which like the cabinets are like 400, 500 pounds, which he has like, he put them under his bed. Like they're his bed basically, like the foundation of the bed. It's kind of cool to see. I took some pictures. I'll send it to you. They're also just into like DIY. Like, I'm bored. I'm gonna put all this broken shit together and get it working. I'm not gonna say hillbilly stuff, but like hillbilly engineering type situation.
That's so cool. And then you played bass.
I played bass.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I played through like a 115. I wasn't
like
really
a giant fucking bass rig, or no?
Yeah, it was. Well, no, it wasn't that bad. I didn't take a picture of that amp though. I should have.
Or they just had big ass guitar amps and shit.
Yeah. And I think I probably came off like sounding like I know more than I do. And I'm like, oh yeah, so playing this. So, oh wow, your bass is really cool. I'm like, I'm trying. Oh, I brought like some pedals and stuff. Like, oh whoa, like, oh, we got a hot shot over here.
You're like, oh shit, no, I just like this.
So yeah, one of the questions. So what does a compressor do? Well, it compresses.
You're like,
oh man, really?
You're like,
damn,
Brian. You look over, like to your right.
Yeah. So I found out that like my current setup I brought, it's like the pedals I brought and my bass not really meant for metal, and with the amp, it just didn't really sound. I couldn't dial it in like the way I wanted or the way I thought was right.
Yeah.
But I also don't know what that metal bass tone is,
Got to get a dark glass.
I know. Yeah. But it was kind of cool. We're playing jamming songs that they have, or just kind of riffs that they've always play with the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I mainly play like pop punk. Oh yeah, play something. I'm like, okay, well, because metal's pretty serious. I would say like every genre of metal is like not really a laughing matter. I don't know. It's not really fun. Wouldn't say fun.
That's like hair metal, I would say.
Yeah.
That's
everything's
all about
pretty
just
serious.
Like, just drinking, drugs, sex, and stuff.
It sucks.
The way I said it, I'm like, I don't know.
You can say it, Brian. It's okay. You're an adult now.
But, sexy things.
Sexy times. So,
smoking in the boys' room.
Yeah, it's not at like any metal. Like they called it metal. It's not metal.
It's like, I don't know, like Motley Crue and stuff like that. I thought that was metal, but it's not really. Then when you got into metal, like, it was even today. I was like, listening, actually giving it a third. Like I'm like, I'm gonna give this a serious listen to like Metallica. I only listened to one song and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna move on. I just
Oh
listen
yeah,
to
Metallica.
Master of Puppets. I'm like, all right, it has metal in the name. No, hey, come on, they're metal.
Yeah, that's
right?
what's so stupid about Metallica. It's metal is in the fucking name, so it's like they're metal. Yep.
Yeah, I think
They
we've
gotta
already
be
we've
good.
already done this. Like,
Yeah,
it'd be
we've
like
done
a
it,
polka kaka.
Yeah. Poltalica.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really
But-
work. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
no, this stuff is actually. I was like listening to that song, and I'm like, it's good. Yeah, for sure. Obviously, no shit. They're one of the biggest bands in the world, but it's
Yeah.
like some of the parts are really weird. I'm like, you know, I'm like,
oh,
the timing wise, I'm like, what?
what are they doing? Is that even legal?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you can really notice it unless you're listening. I mean, I never noticed that stuff, I guess, on when it played on the radio.
Mhm. But yeah, so no, I would say like most of it's like pretty, at least lyric wise or whatever. I don't know, because we're so far out of it, it's just an assumption. But you would assume most metal, is serious or people take it seriously.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. And I was like, well, I normally play pop punk. I was expecting them to like laugh and like, oh yeah, dude, yeah, play some riffs. I'll follow you. I'm like, all right. So I started like, okay, here's a fucking box progression
Something
or whatever,
in,
like
in
the
D major.
yeah, just lit. I think it was actually.
You're like,
I'm
here's
man.
D major, and then what you're gonna want you're probably used to B minor.
Yeah,
Just the relative minor. I'm like, so this is the relative major of that. The guy's like, okay.
so
He
we
just all
started
pissed off. He's like, all right.
No, he wasn't He wasn't pissed. Wasn't pissed.
I gotta play this pussy shit.
Pissed.
Pissed
My pants.
I'm pissed ass. You get him.
Well, what's that smell? That'd be my piss.
My pass.
My piss. Yeah. So I started just like
No trainers.
No trainers.
Be my pass.
So
From the in betweeners.
So I just started playing like a riff.
Yeah.
And they started playing and they're like, man, this is fun, man. This is so cool. I'm like, yeah, it is fun. You're right. It's like a different, it's not serious, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't, like, I guess you can't say pop punk songs aren't serious, but the progressions are like bang, 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 bang.
Well, I think just
bang,
even
bang,
just
bang, wah, wah, wah.
jamming, maybe it's just the two brothers, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sure maybe they've been.
It's called Two Brothers.
two.
Yeah.
That's the name of the band, Brian. The two brothers would probably jam,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, okay, we don't have a bass player, and then just filling it out with another person.
Yeah.
You're like, man, this is sick.
Yeah. Just having that, slightly or low, a low end sound to it. And I tried following them when they were playing and, everything was dropped, drop D. I'm like, all right, I can try and swing with this, I can try and figure out what's going on.
Like,
But, yeah.
like playing a rubber band. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. It's just like, John. Oh, I can do that. Just climb up and drop back to D, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, all right, this is fine. And then playing the pop punk stuff, I'm like, this is, if I jam with these guys some more, I'll bring a song in that, hey, well, let's play, just play this. See try this one out for size.
You just show them like our actual songs. Here, try this.
Yeah, I didn't play any of that. No, I didn't. I did play for them like a song we were working on, like that Shad Dynasty song.
Yeah.
Shady Nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Shad Dynasty, asshole.
It's like, oh, and guitar. What does he play? Bullshit. Anyways, let's go.
Bullshit.
Sounds like some bullshit.
This is so.
What kind
That's
of
kinda cool.
what kind of rig did the guitar player have?
I think he was. Okay, so he had a crate full tube amp, like the big ass.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's like a blue cap, like
the blue voodoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
One
Yeah.
of those.
I think that was. I think they were like really high gain, and Sammy Hagar used those.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the amp I was playing through was probably like 40 years old.
Okay. Yeah.
This is really old. His was like nice and lit up on the inside with like plexi on the front. It's fine.
Yeah. Then
Just didn't get an amp.
they were like in the 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing those, and but yeah, they were the big boy amps.
Yeah.
I think you could probably. I have never played one of those, but I bet they're actually probably like the tube crates and stuff like that. I'm sure they're pretty good.
He had like the black, a bunch of Black Widow speakers.
Okay, yeah.
He had
the PV
four
ones?
of them in a cabinet. Yeah, and he had 2 more. He's like, "We could make you one, dude. We could make you a cabinet." They weigh like, I want to say like 20 or 30 pounds each for the speakers. Probably more. Yeah. They're heavy as hell. They're like,
oh shit, what are those rated at? Are they like 100 watts each or something like that?
Probably. They probably have a lot. Let's look it up. Let's do a little. Let's start this podcast out right and start researching.
Just like keyboard clicks. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to think of like the. Wait, no, the Black Widow. Are they? Fuck.
I don't know which number it was.
Are they PV? No. Are they?
Yeah, they're
Mesas?
PVs.
What was the Mesa? Is it the Black Shadows?
Yeah, they were Black Widows.
Okay. I think the Mesa ones were Black Shadows.
Yeah, they're 12-inch speakers. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, it was Black Shadow, which was the 90-watt ones. The UK.
Yeah, I think they were older at least. They're like silver, not the black. Yeah, they're silver on the backside, which is funny. They call them Black Widows. Yeah, they're.
He's like, you fucked up the name, idiot.
Yeah. But yeah, they look fucking loud as hell.
Mm. How, when you jammed, was it loud?
Yeah, I didn't even realize. I didn't wear earplugs because I'm an idiot. But like my left ear, once I got outside, my left ear was like quiet, or muffled. I'm like, oh yeah. No, I didn't have any of that. It was just like because I was next to the bass amp, so it's like,
yeah.
If this in stereo, it was just like left side was like muted. I'm like, oh, that's great. Because they're like, I brought earplugs too, but I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to hear everything.
Yeah.
Because it was literally like we were standing all real close. I'm like, okay. He started playing. I'm like, oh, that's not too loud. And I think just playing over like 3 hours, it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
like
right.
2 hours or so.
Yeah. What pedals did you bring?
I brought the compressor, so the Serpens compressor.
Mm-hmm.
Brought 2 different drives to try out. I tried the Southampton 5th gear just to kind of.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Just to kind of see, because I know it adds a little bit of not really breakup, but warmth, I guess.
That one's totally a great one, as in like an always on.
Yeah, and then I brought I don't know if it was a 385 or not. I brought a Walrus drive pedal.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one. It was it was a Voyager. I just wanted to see how it sounded.
Mm-hmm.
I not knowing what amp I was going to be playing through it all.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck it, I'll try chorus too, because it's a metal band.
Yeah.
So, it's 80s metal, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I only just kind of messed around with it. The amp for me didn't really, I don't know, I could never really get to sound good until like the very end. I was like, oh, I can kind of hear. Obviously, I'm used to a little bit louder amps with probably a little more,
or like the 410s, which are different.
Yeah,
because they're, I don't know, I've
more or sparkly. I don't know, not sparkly, but more treble.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many times I've played like a 15 on bass.
Yeah,
I think it was in the past 5 years. It was the one time I mentioned where Brian Wilder, he brought the cabs for bass for a gig, and then he's like, "Oh, you just use this." I'm like, "Cool." So I think I brought your SVT3 on it, and so having like the cab, the 410 so high, and then like that really big, 15. I'm like, all right. I felt like I was so loud in the tiny bar, and Johnny's like, "No, you weren't. You probably could have come up more." But I'm like, with the low end of that, and then I think the horn was pretty cranked on that 410. I don't know if it was cranked all the way, but I'm like, I always like, it's cool to have the horn on the 410, but I always just one.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have it, just like a little pinch of salt on there, not like you're not doing any shakes. It's just like a little, because there's a 410 HLF at the rehearsal space that we go to.
Yeah.
and they always like people just always set it to the middle. I'm like, oh my god, this is so clicky. You can hear all the frets, and I'm like, it's on there. I like to have it just barely on. I'm sure it does nothing, but I'm like, just barely there.
It's cool to have that option.
Yeah. But even just having it only at 15, I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, it got kind of farty, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I tried my best. I should have brought an EQ or something because the EQ on the amp didn't seem to really doing a whole lot.
Yeah,
so.
I wonder if it's like the orange, or is like the orange Terra bass. I guess it gets more boxy than farty.
Yeah,
because it's a 2x12 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the all around best go to is the 410 for bass.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But sometimes they're heavy. And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. We had like we played in a neighborhood in his like bedroom, which is kind of funny.
Oh, that's crazy. So, yeah. No, you had mentioned that. Did he have just a shit ton of gear in his bedroom?
Yeah, that was where all of it was pretty much. He had just a lot of PV shit, like a lot of PV, like stuff you'd have at like a festival in like the 80s or something. Like,
yeah, because like the stuff that Johnny has, some of those cabs, yeah.
But these were like the ones you hang up, like the PA you hang up, like.
Oh shit!
Like
okay,
curve,
like
he had
not just the PV Festival series. It was the ones that like you would have at. Oh shit!
And he had like
how did he not just like fucking knock the house down?
Well, we didn't have everything plugged in, right? But the horn has like the dividers. So it's not just like the one horn on some of these. They were like like machine gun turret.
I'm sure he got like a hell of a deal on that. Somebody's like, oh, I want to. He was probably like,
I'm tired of dragging this shit around. You want it? Yeah.
Like, I want to buy this guitar cap. Oh, you got to take all these. Like, sold.
Yeah.
So now I just fucking load up my truck, which is a shit ton of speakers.
It was pretty gnarly. And the best part is that they just kind of like, when they get bored, just build shit. So it's kind of funny. It's like, like what the fuck is that green thing? Well, it was a JBL, like the plastic speaker.
Yeah.
Like they pulled the whole guts out and put it in like their own plywood cabinet. I'm like, but they kept the face plate of it. I'm like, what the fuck is that thing? And they painted it green, like with house paint. I'm like,
that's cool.
I took a picture of that. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, that's a cool little monitor or something like that. Weird.
Yeah. It was probably powered, like those powered cabs. And then he had like, then he had like,
yeah, no, that's
a way. A head.
Yeah.
He had like the face plate with knob, like like a head inside the cabinet too.
So that's probably a way my own inner dilemma of like getting like a powered PA speaker totally fine for running like a HX Stomp or the Fractal, but to me I'm like it looks like a plastic PA speaker.
Yeah.
Whereas if you built your own cabinet out of it, then you could just take the guts and put it into something else, and like no one's gonna be the wiser.
Oh man, it looked ugly, but I think I didn't hear it. He didn't plug it in. It was his brother's thing. But it's kind of funny. He's like, let me show you. We walk across the house. It's like, what the fuck is that thing?
That's fun.
Anyways,
yeah, it's cool to just take shit. I'm sure they, it's like, I don't know. I like the gumption just to like get up and just like rip this apart and fucking rebuild it.
Yeah.
And then
I think his dad built amps or something. So they're like, well, if dad can do it, I can fucking do it.
That's cool. Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was the jam.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Yeah, like that's where it was all downhill from there though, because that's where I started feeling like shit.
Yeah,
and then next day had to call off the podcast.
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah,
no, Brian, I can't come in today. I'm not feeling too good. My tummy's all rumbling.
Really could just do the podcast from bed.
Yeah. No, I was so fucking tired.
Yeah.
I think I went to bed that night like I don't know, like 9 or just like earlier than normal, so 2 a.m.
I had to get my games in though. I had to get
so I guess I sent you and Johnny actually because I wanted to get your guys' opinion on I'm looking for a vehicle that I can, make the journey from San Diego here with some shit, with some of my stuff. All of it, hopefully.
Okay.
But
yeah, I guess if people don't know, Kyle's in Texas. He's got
I should have started the podcast like that.
Yeah. He's got his house.
Dang.
But most of his shit, garage full of shit, is still in San Diego. So now Kyle's like, okay. He didn't want to bring it all over there to be like, okay, where am I going to put it?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah.
So now you have a place to put it. So like, okay, now I got to figure out how to get it all over.
Phase 2.
Yeah.
Phase 1, get a job. Phase 2, move my whole life over here.
Phase 3,
without any
get
plan.
some cats.
Yeah.
And then
that's like 2.5 actually.
Bass Pro Shop hats.
Yeah.
5 profit.
Yeah. Boom. Money raking it in. That's my business. Like you're sitting in the bank. It's your business model.
You're like, well, that sounds pretty good. I like the Bass Pro Shop thing.
Man, you should have led with that one.
Yeah, that should have been step 1.
You said you got the job though, right? How do you think I got the hats?
Yeah, good dumb fuck. I'm just kidding. Credit.
You're
baby.
calling the shots now.
Credit card, baby.
So, been looking at I've been searching through Craigslist or actually Facebook Marketplace, to be specific, like a motherfucker.
So I think the first easy, not inexpensive option was to get just like a moving company to get the everything loaded up and just get out there. But
that's the expensive.
That's where that comes in. The cash like
$8 to $9 grand.
Yeah,
or $8 to $10 grand, I should say.
Yeah,
to be even more specific. And then get
the car out there, and then you're that's where it's coming in.
Yeah, another $1,000 to get the Vic out here. So
or the El Camino.
Sorry, the El Camino. And then Carrie's got to drive her car. She has a car too, but if I were to get let's say if I want, I'll just drive myself then, but I'll do a U-Haul. Those are still like $5,500 one way. Mm-hmm. That's excluding gas.
And that you might not be able to load everything up on there.
Still, yeah. And then you're out again for another $5,500 if you have to drive, or maybe if you're just a smaller truck, whatever. So, we looked up getting like those pod or those little cube things. Those still cost a shitload, and they're super small.
You could probably fit
like the size of like a porta potty.
You could probably fit your 810 and your tool chest in there, and then
and that's it.
Yep.
Slap the back of it. All right, boys, take it away.
You know how much spaghetti you can fit in this thing?
Oh, fuck.
Stupid. But anyway, so this is the dilemma. It's like, okay, try not to like, ruin your retirement by getting all your stuff out there.
Yeah. So right now it's just super expensive. And if you flip it and pick up the van and go the other way, it's like $2,000 cheaper. It's like, still $3,000, still expensive, but it's like way cheaper to drive out there. It's like almost half as much. It's a little more. It's
because I'm sure a lot of people have done what you've done. It's just like, let's just go to,
drop everything.
And so they know that it's like, hey, we're running a business. We're running a business here.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. They want their vans to stay there, Mm-hmm. They want their trucks. And I drive past all these U-Haul dealers out here. They're just loaded with fucking trucks. Mm-hmm. But I was like, okay, what if we rent it here and drive it there? All right. But so you pay for the day and then you
tap the temple. You're like, big brain action.
You pay for the day, right? How many days? But then you also pay per mile also. So it gets in this. It's like it's still less, but also it's like now I just spent, Anyways, so what I'm trying to do is, what if I invest it in a vehicle, the money, and then it's mine. That vehicle is mine.
Yeah.
And I don't have to pay for it again.
Yeah.
Or if I need to move something else, I have it, Anyway, so I was looking for a truck or some with a flatbed or a diesel, just something. And I came across this car hauler. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this could be perfect. It's like, it's in a good price range. I'm like, it looks, the back, it has like a ramp on the back. I'm like, it looks great. So drove up there. It took forever it was like a 2-hour drive north.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you didn't say the whole thing. It was like a converted
Oh yeah,
Econoline that somebody
it's not a truck.
converted themselves.
Yeah,
they took it apart and
So I was gonna say that
I didn't comment anything. I was like just at work busy. I should here's my comment.
Is that?
Woof.
Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, that's my one comment. Woof.
So it wasn't a diesel, so I'd be compromising with that. It's also a DIY job. Right?
Yeah. It looked like it was plywood or something. We got a back part too that you can sleep in.
It had a window. No, I was I was like, look, there's a space that you could sleep in the back. There's a little sleeper.
Yeah.
Which I laid in it. You could fit. I fit in it.
Yeah.
So it's like barely enough for me to lay down. Anyways, it was an RV before.
Oh, okay? It was an RV. Okay.
It was an RV. I thought it was like a
I thought it was it looked like an Econoline.
Well, it wasn't RV. Well, it's an E350 front.
E350.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, but it had the big ass like V8 in it.
Yeah.
That you could get in the 90s, right? It had a 460 in that thing.
Yeah.
And so, so we're looking around. I'm looking at Cameron, my brother. We're looking back and forth like, oh, this looks pretty shitty. Like the work, like you'd have to. It might make it to California and back, hopefully.
You're like, is that fucking bubblegum? It's like, bubble yum. No. And he's like,
no. He like put linoleum tile on the back of the thing, but he didn't stick it down. He used thumbtacks. So I'm like, that's coming off. Anyways. So so that's just the level of I'm like, okay, well, if we did get this, you could rip off this whole DIY part and put on like an actual legit like fiberglass camper, like the not a camper, but like they make them. Anyways, I'm not gonna get that thing, but the thing was awesome to drive actually.
Okay,
it had a big ass engine in that truck that was lighter now, and it was like it sounded like a fucking monster. It's like wow 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 wow. Like he had a side pipe like you'd have on like a semi truck.
Yeah.
It comes down straight up. Damn. That would have been fun to show up,
Oh, fuck. What about your boy Hamza?
Yeah.
Can he hook you up and help you out?
Maybe. I don't know. He's I don't know. I haven't hit him up about that.
You're like, shit, I totally forgot.
He's now driving, I think, more than just Arizona. He was doing Arizona ship, or like driving a semi, but now he's doing more states, so.
Yeah, I think you were mentioning he's like been to like almost all the states in the U.S.
Yeah. Damn.
Like, shit, I've been to one.
Yeah.
Texas, baby. That's all. You forget.
That's only one.
You forget every other one.
I've been to a lot of states with you still, too.
Yeah.
I've been there.
You're lying directly to me. I'm like, yeah, that sounds legit. You're born
one state,
in California.
The Republic of Texas. Yeah, I was also born somewhere else. So, yeah, it was fun to drive. Obviously, but I told the guy, I'm like, hey, this is a little more DIY than I thought it was. We're trying to be respectful. He didn't make it. His buddy is selling it. And, it's one of those situations where it's like, oh, my buddy's selling it. Oh yeah, but literally, it's a big ass thing. So he had it parked in front of his house.
He's like, so get rid of this fucking thing.
I was like, you want me to drive it? He's like, I don't care. Take it. Because in the ad, he said, like, don't drive it if you don't have the money. And I was like, hey, do you mind if we take this for a spin? He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. Oh, the brakes were not good. That'd be one thing I have to fix. I was like, that's kind of a big deal.
Flintstone style, you gotta fucking heavy. The brake with your feet.
Yeah, and it was from Oregon. So that was another thing that was a little weird. And it was actually titled as a 2017 vehicle. Even though it's a 1990. Because it's like a DIY thing, and they retitled it, and they're like, oh yeah, fucking Oregon does like you made it here to 2000. What year is it? Fucking yeah, that's brand new. I'm like, what kind of regulations have to be on that thing now?
Yeah,
if they're like, this doesn't have the emissions that I'm like, all right, might have to move on from this thing.
You're like, this I already decided I wasn't gonna get it before I drove it, but now
yeah,
I just want to fucking I drove all my person all this way. Now I want to just fucking just open this shit up.
So on the theme of looking at vehicles, my brother, I drove with him out to just some bumfuck nowhere place. Like, I mean, it really felt like that. I had to drive an hour to pick him up, and then in 2 hours in the same direction, just out into the boons.
Yeah.
And we found a Crown Vic. So
Gotcha.
drove around, same year as mine.
Okay.
Made within like 1,400 of, so the VIN number is almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is fucking sick. Got cruise control. A little jealous. Definitely jealous on that. Mine's like an ankle breaker. You set your cruise control is your ankle or a brick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, great car. He got that. He's destroyed like 2 cars in the last month and a half. So
on to number 3.
Yeah, I know. Even that van that he got after he destroyed the last one, which I talked about.
Yeah.
Just gave up the ghost the other day. So I'm like, don't you fuck this one up.
Like, what are you doing to this? Are you putting fucking molasses in this car instead of oil? Oh shit, you're not supposed to?
Yeah, how many moles do you have to go through to get those asses?
Yeah, get all those asses.
Boom.
Liquid molasses. Liquefied.
Liquefied, like compote. It's like reductions.
Yeah.
Anyways, so also, since I'm still looking for a vehicle, I looked at a diesel today that I think I'm going to buy. So it's a Ford 7.3 F350 manual. So I'm going to have to learn how to drive a manual.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a F150.
Yeah.
And then there's the F350. What's next? F450?
Boo! They already have those.
What about the 550?
They have those too.
Okay, then think of the fucking one that they have, and then one after that. What about?
What about that? Such a dumb bit.
So
it's
stupid.
Funny.
Home Alone 2. What's next? Home Alone 3. Boo.
Dude, they have like they have a Home Alone, a new one too, like an even newer one. I saw on, was it Disney or it's like Home Alone?
I did.
I can't remember the name.
Home Aloner.
Yeah.
This kid's a loser. they just bust in the house and just make fun of him. Kevin, you're a fucking loser. The mom is the same, yelling at him.
Yeah, how can they sell that as the same kid? It's not even close. Like,
oh yeah, there's just the meme. If Home Alone was now, it would just be like, oh no, my whole family's gone. Text mom. It's like, hey, you forgot me. Oh, okay, we're gonna turn back.
Going back.
Yeah, pick you up. That's all it would be.
5-minute movie, or it's like the build up to the situation, and then it doesn't happen.
And then it just follows him on vacation, not having a good time. Like, boy, I wish I was just killing some robbers.
Smashing their faces and
just
destroying,
killing them twice,
having them
go
require
to New York,
plastic surgery. Yeah,
go to New York and kill them again.
You watching any Christmas movies, by the way?
Not lately. No.
Yeah,
or not.
I watched. Good, cool. This is what I want to talk about. No, you're like
good. No.
Fumbling. Shut the fuck up.
I didn't have to tell you to shut up.
I watched Christmas Vacation.
Great
last
movie.
Night.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then Elf. I actually like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Elf is pretty good. Then Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3 I watched. They're not Christmas movies, but just want to let you know.
But I watched them.
Get on my level, bitch. I've never watched them before.
Are they good?
Yeah, they're pretty damn good actually. I mean, they have the cheesy 90s like I don't know.
Get too old for this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like the crazy explosions and they get the kick shit out of them. Like, you guys would be dead, by the way. Like, not only did you survive an explosion, but you were tortured. They like beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You would be dead.
I just think of like, I was hanging out with Train the other day and saw just on TV The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. Just thinking of the beginning of that movie where like The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson like, all right, we're gonna do this. They just jump off a building and
their egos are so big that they think they can.
It's like this huge action sequence, and then they just jump off and die.
Was it The Rock and
yeah, it was Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Oh,
could have swore that
Samuel L. Jackson. Who's the other guy?
The Rock.
Okay, so it was The Rock. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I pictured like Terry Crews for some reason.
That'd be funny too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking of Brooklyn Nine-Nine mix of those two. Anyways, Lethal Weapon. No, I'm gonna go back, dude. It must have been like a GM fucking commercial the whole fucking time.
Oh yeah.
Every car was a GM Pontiac, whatever. A car I've never heard of. Super 88 or whatever. You're like, damn, that thing's sick.
What'd you watch
Look
that
it up. HBO Max.
Okay, cool. I'll
Pretty sick.
I've never seen Lethal Weapons.
Yeah, it's cheesy. Don't get me wrong. It's like, the guy. This guy's the crazy one, and people think he wants to commit suicide. He's the crazy cop, you know. And then, this guy's ready to retire. Oh,
he's
but
too old for this shit.
They're not rookies. Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah,
it's like opposites attract type situation.
The Odd Couple. Yeah,
yeah, and it works. It works fine. I almost said Vin Diesel. Mel Gibson just yells a bunch of racial slurs all the time, so it's great. It's a great movie.
He really pushed his.
I'm just kidding. He doesn't. Not yet. That's later in his career. Okay, so this Diesel is pretty sick.
Okay,
it's manual. Yeah. Which I have only ridden manual motorcycles, so we'll see.
Basically the same thing. Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. No, I told him, I'm like, hey, I told the guy, I'm like, I have never driven a car that's manual, so,
Can you give me
I just want to let you know. Yeah. No, I said, I don't want to practice on your truck, so I just want to let it run, and I know how to start them. You put it in, put the clutch in, or put the shifter in neutral, you push the clutch in, so I got it started. I don't want to seem like a pussy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Back that up. I didn't seem like a dickhead.
Yeah.
Anyways. But that's my what's new. That's what I was doing 2-3 hours ago. So looking at trucks.
Past couple of weeks. Yeah.
What do you got? What are you doing? What's new with you?
Let's see. I guess this past weekend, I went out to go see a show, like a live music show. One that I didn't play, so I can't remember the last time I went to go just see a band.
Just to see a band, yeah.
Yeah. Went with Adam and Brian. Went to, kind of a shithole bar that we've played at before, but it was a fun Navajo Live.
Oh,
right next to a Domino's.
Yeah, did you guys snack down on that?
We actually got some Einstein bagels because it was right next to that.
Stupid. What'd you get though?
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Lox and bagel.
And still need to try that. But went there and saw Will Lopez. He's been a guest on the show before. His band Fair Play. It's actually, I think this is the first time I actually have seen him play in his band Fair Play. I've seen him play in other bands like The Rough and Fishing for Chips and stuff like that. And I've seen him around. I'm like, oh, the first time seeing him in his band. And even though it's like kind of like, not the coolest venue in the world, it was just a fun show. It actually sounded great. They killed it. There was a good crowd there, and it was fun. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I think just because the show that we played there was like on like a Monday or something like that. Daylight.
Hell yeah.
Daylight.
Keep the party rolling from Sunday.
Yeah. And it was like a random weekday, and then they were like, oh, you guys got to play. It's still light outside. And it's like, there's nobody. I'm like, fine. Okay. So, but yeah, checking them out. It was pretty rad. It's definitely more of a rock kind of, inspired band, not really punk really at all. His rig is definitely as rock and roll as it gets. It's a Les Paul, a few pedals, into a JCM 800, and like a classic, 1960 cab, or is it the vintage 1960 cab? And then I'm like, all right, that's cool, totally, that's it. Let's roll. Let's go. Yeah, it was cool. He had a little bit of a like something his amp kind of shut off, or like was not making sound in the middle of like one of the second or third songs. And so I'm like, I'm in the crowd. I'm like, I can't not do anything
on the way.
I'm like,
help
is on the way. like and just push people like somebody like with their cell phone filming
with their
and
drink in their hand. Just
I go out of my way and zigzag and knock people over with their drinks and then find people with the fullest drink and splash it in their face. I'm like, I gotta go.
You're doing the floor like you're a Roomba vacuum, just go
and just knocking people's knees and rolling and just bah. And I'm like, I gotta go help them. I might take 4 times as long to get on stage.
Oh, it's fixed. I got it already.
But no, I could see like, oh, cable wasn't bad. Cable to the pedal board wasn't bad. Oh shit, pedal board wasn't the problem. I'm like, shit, it's the worst one. It's the amp. I'm like, oh shit. So basically, like, I ran up there. He's already powered it down, and bass player is going, and she's like, I guess I have a solo now. So she's just fucking going, and she's like kind of playing some of the melody that would be for the guitar solo.
Oh wow.
And then I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm like, all right, what would I do? Amp shut down. I'm like, speaker cable. It's got to be speaker cable. And then I unplug it from one of the inputs because I know some of the Marshalls have 2 outputs for the cabs. So I basically, he had already shut it down, so I wasn't worried about like power or whatever. Plugged into the other one. We replugged it back into the the cab. Kind of just did a little jiggle of the the inputs. Fired it back on. It worked. I'm like, all right, so it's probably a dirty input jack, or maybe the input jack, or sorry, the output jack
tweaked or something,
needs to be replaced or something like that. So like,
yeah, okay.
It didn't sound like tubes. It sounded like it was cutting out.
Yeah,
because like tubes can kind of go and it's like, and I'm like,
yeah,
no, it's like, I'm like, or it could be just a bad speaker cable, but it ended up working, and so I'm like, I could have just like, I saw it. I'm like, I saw it, and I'm like,
spit on it, and put it back in there. Try it now.
Just lick the thing and shove it back in. Yeah, and I'm like, it just like to me, I'm like, I'm out just hanging out, having a good time. I just want to see Will's band. I'm like, I can't not help, but I had to just
slam people to the ground.
I had to like
get out of the way.
I kind of moved. I was kind of back a little bit. I'm like, I had to move like around people. I'm like, set my beard down, running up on stage. I'm like, I'm trying to help. And then I'm just thinking like, okay, I saw what he was doing. I'm like, okay, I got another idea. Let's try this. Boom, and it worked. So I just felt like, I'm like, it's just funny because I'm like, not that I did a whole lot, but I'm just like, you can just be like part of the crowd. I'm like, whatever, they'll figure it out. But I'm to be like,
no, not this time.
Not today.
Not on my watch.
Not on my beat.
You slam your milk down on the table and start slow walking in.
I make sure to chug my beer first before helping him with his equipment. Really expensive JCM 800. I'm like, let me fucking fuck with it.
Yeah,
if you try just pulling tubes and you shoving them back in there.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll spit on the jack.
on the tube sockets, like
the tube socket. That'll work.
You
ever seen a grenade before?
Grenade
made of glass.
Might need a little bit of cleaning. Yeah, a little lubrication.
A lubrication.
Just destroy his shit. But no, it ended up working. So
nice.
He was stoked. He was like, "Oh, thanks."
Were you looking for a pat on the back for that one? Good job, Brian.
No,
thanks for saving the show.
And I was like, no, he killed it after that. I'm like, oh, it's cool. He's definitely a guitar player in his band. It's like that's more of his thing. You know, I've seen Will play in other bands where he's like fill in and stuff like that. And then he's definitely using the pickups and the volume on those pickups and the tone to flip back and forth. I could see him like, oh, he's jumping, this is a fuzzier part because he's rolling up on the neck and then bridge down and stuff like that. And then the same drive pedals, he didn't kick on anything else, kicking it to the bridge for the lead parts. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then that, and then, so that was fun. It was cool just to hang out, to go see a band. And then, with the boys, going out with the crew there. And then, just kind of like the idea of like, oh shit, getting more of your pickup and, manipulation of your sound just from the guitar. And then I haven't been listening to a lot of guitar podcasts this, like, maybe over the past, like, I don't know, several months or whatever. And then made me think, like, oh, I should jump back into it. So today, especially, I just marathoned the Fret Talk podcast and them just talking about gear and gigging and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, fuck. you know what? And I texted you. I'm like, between like all these things, I'm like, let me try some guitars. I'm like, oh, you know who has some? Kyle McIntyre. The ones that he's like planning to buy the truck to get over to Texas. You have a couple guitars here in San Diego still. And then I hit you up. I'm like, hey, can I just come by and just pick them up? And you're like, I don't give a shit. I can't be bothered.
Yes, exactly.
I think you were on your way to go look at the truck. I'm like, fucking, I don't care. And so I went to pick up. Your Cabernita.
Yeah.
And the Telecaster. And I was just playing that when I got home after work, and I was just jamming. I'm like, man, having more than one pickup, it's pretty sick. Gives you so many options.
You've been preaching single pickup for 3 years, and you're like, well, this is pretty good.
Not that it's better. It's not worse. It's also still cool. But yeah, just the Cabernita is the one that has the Brandon Wound Filtertrons.
Yep.
Brandotrons. I'm sure he doesn't call it that. No. And then the Telecaster has the 5-way harness with the Glacier T sonic pickups.
Yeah.
So the 5-way harness from Gun Street, along with the sonic pickups Glacier T's. It's pretty cool. I'm like, I have to go hit up Sean, or if you remember what the 5-way switches are. I think the middle one is the bridge. And then the front one is the neck, because the all the way back doesn't sound like the bridge pickup to me.
No, yeah. It's still the two of them together.
Yeah.
I believe.
So, anyway, I had to hit up Sean to see what those are. But I'm like, they're just sitting there. I'm going to take them. I hit you up that I was just going to take the blue Telly, and then I saw the Cabernita there. I'm like, nah, I'm taking that too.
Yeah, the Cabernita is great. It feels awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was just fucking around.
It's like a pretty thin neck, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. But the stainless steel frets are as smooth as butter, baby.
Yeah, definitely. And they'll never wear down, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. So,
not that I'll play it enough to wear it down, but...
Mm-hmm. So, the Filtertrons sound really great for high-gain guitars, too.
Really?
All right, I have a high-gain patch. Just today, I was just jamming on my stomp. It was Fluff from Riffs, Beards, and Gear. He put out like a Helix patch.
Nice.
And he's like, oh, here, I'm going to have a video of how I build a Helix patch. And so I basically was able to take that and throw it into my stomp and just kind of rebuild it a little bit. And then because I own the same IRs that he does in the video, I'm like, oh, it's be able to use the same ones. So pretty much sounds the same as he used. I'm like, wow, he made a good patch. One that I wouldn't think to use is it's like a rev amp generator.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm going to jump to use Mesas or...
Well, they're more of like
PVs.
Would you say it's more of a metal kind of band? Or not band, but rev would be more metal-y?
Yeah, and especially that amp. And then playing his patch or whatever. So it's just obviously just playing through an HX Stomp and headphones. I'm like, all right, that Filtertron sounds great with that. You wouldn't think so, but just the, I don't know, that attack and the palm mutes and shit like that. I'm like, oh, it totally works. But yeah, that's kind of my what's news. It's just going to see some live music, which is really cool. So I'm trying to make that more of a thing. We were talking about Brian, Adam, and I. It's like, oh yeah, we should actually go, because I'm like, what were the plans for Sunday night were to watch Netflix and drink beer at home. Oh, I can watch a band and drink beer. So I'm like, it was like $5. So I'm like, what's a fucking big deal?
Could have watched All Lethal Weapons. I mean, I'm just saying.
Know. You could have done that. But
watch Merton Riggs fuck up LA, blow up some buildings and shit.
Spoilers. But yeah, long what's new. We're it's to be expected. We're catching up with the K-Man here. But I don't know. Do you want to do? Maybe let's hit up one, and we'll get on out of here.
All right.
So this is a loose one that I was kind of I was talking to yous earlier about.
Hamana.
Hey, I was thinking about how there's like almost when it comes to like gear that came out this year, nothing really crazy comes to mind like that. Like this is like really cool or something that I would really like. And to say that, like one of my favorite companies that I talk about all the time, Fractal, came out with, I think 2. The Fractal FM9, which is basically a wider, bigger FM3 floor unit, and then AxeFX 3 Mark II, which is like here's another AxeFX 3, but this one has RGB colors on the front. it does. I think it has a little bit better processing, but it was like also like you can change the color of the font and you can make it do RGB stuff. I'm like,
wow.
Okay, that's kind of cool, but
I'm gonna get that.
Well, because I just think
I'm gonna get that.
I'm in like a couple groups. There's the podcast Guitar Nerds. They do every year the Gear of the Year.
Yeah,
and not like they were like, hey, what do you think is the Gear of the Year? And then they post a couple of their things that they had. I'm like,
didn't hear about any of this stuff.
Well, no, I heard about it, but I'm like, that really made the list. And I'm not to like shit on their podcast or anything, but I'm like, you're kind of
Gibson app is listed on here.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm just thinking like the Pack Rat. I'm like, that came out like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it's just a bunch of rats in a box. And I'm like, really? Okay,
I should call it the Rat King, but
no, the Rat Bastard. No, that's ours. Copyright.
Oh, yeah.
But it was I was just like thinking about it. I'm like, not to like disparage or whatever, but I'm like, because they're kind of at the mercy of like what came out this year. But I can't think of anything crazy. Is it just me in my mindset of like not looking at gear, or like what about you? I know you had like a big year of like shifting focus to like, okay, now I'm buying a house instead of like, hey, pedals and all this shit.
Yeah, just saving up for those pedals so I can cash in.
You've not sold a damn one.
No. ROI. Yeah, I'm waiting for that ROI, dog.
All your pedals are in boxes in your garage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, can you name more than what I guess the Guitar Nerds named of what actually came out though, or were those just the only things that came out this year?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's like the coolest, but it was the Walrus flanger that you got.
Yeah.
Would you say that like you really like?
I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking, but judging by the amount of things that came out, yeah, it's probably one of the best things that came out this year.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't anything too crazy because I think of like,
they also came out with Ages, right? Walrus Ages.
I think that was last year.
Damn.
Yeah, but they came out with the Eras.
Yeah. Sorry, not the Ages. I meant the Eras.
Yeah, the one with the bull on it.
With the bull on it. Yeah. That's what I meant.
The young bull.
Duh. The young bull.
They should just do a special edition with Shane on it.
Yeah, I don't think they would go for that.
Here's a racist podcaster.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. He'll be the face.
I mean, I guess it's just a guitar. I don't know. Make sounds and stuff.
Yeah. Jesus.
Anyways, I'll just fuck around. What's up?
So, just Cruz here listening to
Dragula.
Rob Zombie, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think
and not a whole lot of new stuff.
I guess I'm not like I didn't come prepared or whatever, but I guess like maybe recently that Shure MV7, which is like the USB mic version of and cheaper, smaller version of the SM7B.
How much cheaper though?
I think they're in like the 200s, I think.
Huh. What was that called again? Not that I'm looking up or anything.
Yeah, sure. What was it? MV7.
MV7.
Yeah, it's $239. So
all right. Damn, that's pretty good. But who knows? I mean, it might not be as good.
Shit. No, I guess it came out last year.
God damn it, you idiot.
You fucking idiot. Yeah,
cats whining. Cats don't want me cursing. Sorry,
son of a bitch.
They hear me in here. They go meow. They're just like screaming.
Stop cursing.
Shut up, you bitch. That's what they're saying to me. I mean, there's the Waza. I mean, there's the was it I can't even think of the name, but the metal pedal from Boss.
The HM2.
HM2,
yeah, the heavy metal one.
Heavy metal. I don't know.
Well, I guess thinking of recording, I guess the Universal Audio came out with some new interfaces.
Yeah,
but they're like kind of cheaper, but they have like built-in compressor that you can turn on and off for vocals.
Yeah.
And more like I/O than I guess, or different kind of I/O than the Apollos I was looking at. Because I don't think my Apollo actually has MIDI on it. So if I wanted to plug MIDI, I couldn't do it.
Oh,
You
interesting.
what? That hunk of shit. But I was just thinking about gear. I'm like, is it because of like, it has to be like supply chain issues, right? Or
I just think they don't know what they don't really have a gauge of what people want right now. I mean, I can see a shift of more recording stuff that's coming out. At least just I'm reading some lists of things. They all seem to be like, let's see, like M Audio. I mean, they released some stuff. I mean, you have, more microphones being made. Like, I mean, that USB mic. Yeah, that's another example. But and studio monitors, you see more of that. Like, I don't know, Ashdown.
Yeah.
The Ashdown studio monitors that just came out.
Ashdown has them?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think maybe because, shit doesn't come out so fucking quick. Maybe they're thinking of, some places still are. And, with thinking about, last year when lockdown and more people are trying to do live streaming, more people are trying to do at home recording. And now that gigs are happening again, they're like, oh, shit. I did watch a rig rundown premiere guitar of a band. I forget their name.
Cool.
Yep. Anyway, some band where one of the guitar players, they were always kind of doing like, oh yeah, just big loud amps or whatever, or like as far as like AC30s,
Yeah.
And so like, okay, 2x12 combos. And then COVID happened and they were doing at home and stuff like that. And so one guitar player went the opposite way and one went the other way. So one went to like, well, I'm going to start playing a half stack now. Like a Friedman. So Marshall-ish kind of thing. And just big and just loud and just fucking, all right. And I'm going to have like, multiple guitars on the road and pretty good sized pedal board or, not that big, but it's like, probably PT2 or something like that. And just ripping it, just like 100 watt or 50 watt or whatever, just going half stack. And whereas the other guy, he's like, I'm doing Kemper now.
Yeah.
They were both like the ones renting just like 2 AC30s, and that's what we're doing on stage. And now they're like, oh, we now need more specifics of what if we're going to do backlines, but they're kind of only doing US tour. So the guy's like, oh, I'm doing Kemper because I'm like, I kind of made all these patches and shit in my house, and I like how they sound, so I bring them on the road.
Yeah.
And then like he's like, oh, instead of like I have an amp, but it's mainly like a stage monitor because the XLR goes to front of house and they get everything that the same as when I was at home. And then it's just funny the difference. So you're like, it's like, did you ever think you would want to do this? I'm like, no, I thought it would be really shitty until I actually started playing them because I was at home and they're great actually. It's just funny kind of some of the difference. So maybe some of these brands are thinking like, oh, okay, so do people want these smaller amps? It might also be the difference of like, oh, okay, there's the guitar split. There's people who are still like, no, fuck that. They're like, I'm gonna play a fucking JCM 800 a half stack. They're like, Will Lopez, where I'm like, oh, dude, you know what? Headphones at my house. That's what I'm doing. That's me as Brian Gower. That's my guitar playing at the moment. I'm just gonna HX stomp with headphones. I'm like, I'm not even plugging them to my monitors. I'm like, no, just my bedroom, just like in my headphones. This guitar sounds sick. Whereas if you want to play it on a loud on a stage, like 50 to 100 watts. Well, I don't know. You had mentioned earlier, like off air, that like because there weren't gigs going on, that some of these brands are like, should we make things for shows?
Yeah. They're trying to figure out what the hell how to shift.
Well, recently, is it IK Multimedia? They're the ones who they made this like little stream go thing for phones that you can plug into and have better like live stream music.
Yeah.
And you could even use it for cameras and stuff like that. And it just makes me think, I'm like, oh, that thing was like out of stock forever last year.
Yeah.
And then this year they came out with an even better one. Like oh, RJ texted me and like that. I'm like, that has way better features. That I'm like, that's fucking way better. And because they're like thinking, but they're also a year, but they're all are people who are gonna want to do live streams from home. Yeah. So there are some companies that think like, oh shit, we could not keep these goddamn things in stock. What can we do to improve upon this to make another one to make people who own it like RJ and I? We should probably sell those and get the new ones.
Which the iRig, it's the person who makes iRig.
Yeah.
Or person, it's the company.
Is it IK?
Yep, IK Multimedia.
That's it. Okay.
So if you look, like you can buy those for like $40, like the iRig 2s, just like the one that has like the jack into like the 1/4 inch to the 1/8 inch kind of connection with the headphones and all that stuff. But you can see like they made, and then they made the iRig, the Stream.
Yeah.
That was one you couldn't find, right?
Yes.
Still, that one's $100. That's a huge jump in price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then now this new one's like $150.
Yeah, because that one has a lot more channels that you can plug in. Yeah. Because the one that I have and the one that RJ has is 2 RCA inputs. Yeah, left and right. Yeah. So you basically would go out of a mixer into that. So you would have everything mixed and then go into it. I haven't done it in a while, but it's like that's how you could do Instagram streams. I would basically go out of my Apollo left and right into that deal. So, that's a cool one. They came out with something better, but it's just,
that's how it should have been originally. I'm just going to say.
Yeah. It's like you created a problem that you fixed. You piece of shit.
You charged me the amount of 2 things that could have been already in one.
That you charge me.
Now I have 3 things that cost.
You charge me to R&D your product.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But
I'll proudly do it again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I think of like not to like like say like there's no good gear that came out. That's dumb. It's just to be like, oh, it's probably a mix of just like companies don't know what to make, and then the I don't know what to use to make it.
Well, who knows if people are buying it? Like the supply, like I mentioned those Ashdown speakers, they just announced them. They don't. They're not even like being made yet. I mean, maybe they're being made, but there's no a date set.
Yeah. And was it announced last year that they did the HM7 or the HM2 was going to come out?
Yeah, and then they didn't, right?
No, it came out this year, but I haven't heard a goddamn thing from it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they haven't. There you go. No one's played it yet, or I don't know.
But they're out and stuff like that. And honestly, I still do want to try it. But everything I've heard of that like circuit, it just does. It would be unusable. Like I'm like that sounds like shit. The actual one, I think I've seen it on 60 Cycle Ryan's channel. He plays it. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. And then
save that for the Patreon. That's
and then Ryan, he's like, oh, because that's the point of it. It's not supposed to. And he's like, oh, you can emulate it in the Line 6 HX Stomp. It still doesn't sound good. It's just not like meant for, I think, my playing style or what I go through. And that's the whole point of it. So like Ryan's showing him, it's like, oh, cool. What about this? And the chainsaw sound. I'm like, I don't like that, but I still want to play it.
Yeah, you can make the chainsaw noise if you want to, but you don't want to.
I'll
tell you that right away.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just think of all the gear. So I mean, we weren't getting to the bottom of anything there, but let's get on out of here.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's just a ball of yarn.
Before I have another coughing attack. Yeah, that we have to cut out.
Yeah.
Oh no, fourth wall.
Oh no, broken. I should just leave it all.
Leave the blank space of me talking to my cats and stuff, and then like, oh hey, stop scratching my leg, and then
what are you
sit
doing?
Down and then take a drink of water through the next to the microphone,
slugging some water down.
Anyways, go read your thing.
Yeah,
just kidding. You don't read anything. I'm the only one who reads stuff.
You're stretching to like, where's that one document I have? Your desktop is just like somebody dropped confetti on your desktop. Like that's what it looks like. A file.
Actually, it's pretty damn clean.
I'm sure it's not as clean as mine.
Probably not, but I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we'll post it in the group.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Shitty content. All right. Just want to say thank you for tuning into the Tone Jerks podcast. Kyle's back. Thank you, Kyle, for being here.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's the
least I could do.
It's the most I could do.
Yeah. If you like the show, you can follow along on social media. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group linked in the description, or you can just search the Tone Jerks. You'll find it. We have a page that you can like, but join the group. And then we're on Instagram at the Tone Jerks. We're posting cool shit on the reg over there. And then in Apple Podcasts or iTunes, I think it's Apple Podcasts. You can, you should, hopefully, if you like us.
Don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them what to do.
I know, I'm backing up.
Okay.
I was like, don't tell them.
Don't tread on them.
Yeah. You could leave us a review, hopefully 5 stars, but leave us whatever you think we deserve, and then write us a review, and we'll read it on the air. And then if you really like what you hear, you can help support the show on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. But if you double down for $2 a month, you get an extra episode every week, and you get the whole back catalog. You get an RSS feed that you can put into your favorite podcatcher. It's actually pretty easy to do. Eric, I'm talking to you. You just take that and then you put it in your favorite podcatcher, and you get the whole back catalog of all the Patreon episodes. You get it all to your favorite podcatcher. You get all the old ones, all the new ones coming up, just for $2 a month. But just for the support, we want to give you a huge shout out, a sizable acknowledgement. Kyle, you got a list over there?
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
Why don't you?
I'm still searching through it in my
give
computer.
It to...
All right, I got it right here. We got
a big list.
Yeah, we got Andrew Walsh from Andrew's Alcove and the Second Button podcast, which I have listened to 2 episodes, by the way.
All right, cool. That is mine and Andrew's Seinfeld watch along podcast, and I am digging that. It's a really fun way to rewatch a series I've seen 20 times.
I didn't realize you had to like Seinfeld to listen to that podcast. So
I'm
just kidding. I like. What's this Seinfeld you keep talking about?
I would have. Andrew has mentioned that he's had friends who have never seen it, and they're actually watching it, and then and then listening to the podcast. Whereas to me, I'm like, how have you never watched the show? Whatever, it's good. If I can get people into giving more money to Jerry Seinfeld, a fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's
Abe
fun.
Newman.
Yeah.
Abe Newman, Michael Newman, Nicholas Payson, Nicholas Ogburn, Doug King, Doug Chris from 37 Effects, and Masters of the Cinematic Universe and the Just Surprise Me podcast. We also have Joe from Like My Pedals. He sat in last week for me. He's from the Just Surprise Me podcast, also from Like My Pedals and Masters of the Cinema. He's got a laundry list of things he's into, but we couldn't list them all. I mean, some of them are kind of freaky. Masters of the Cinematic Universe also. We have Will Lehue from the Just Surprise Me podcast.
Go to the Patreon for those other
spicy,
spicy memes.
We're doxing him everything he's into on the Patreon. We have Teletalks.
Docking him.
Not docking.
We're docking RJ.
You shut. I'm a donkey punch you. Donkey kick you. That's it.
The donkey punch.
I'm a donkey kick the hell out of you.
Yeah.
We went. Okay, hold on. Cameron and I went to this scrapyard today. We were just walking around looking at all the shit they had, just like trucks and cars and stuff. Yeah. And they had like maybe 30 donkeys walking around there. And we had been there before, and they weren't there. And Cameron's like, oh, there's like horse shit on the ground. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then we were walking around a truck, and there was like 3 of them sitting there. I'm like, Cameron's like, well, when I was in Africa, you don't go near these things. They'll kick the shit out of you. They'll chase you down and bite you. He's like, let's just walk this way. It was random. It was random as hell.
The donkeys, they all pull out switchblades. You lost, boy?
Yeah. We don't like your kind around. Yeah.
Came down the wrong junkyard.
Yeah.
They have leather jackets and shit.
We have RJ Smith from Tally Talks of YouTube and Instagram fame.
Yep, Donkey Punch fame.
Yeah, Donkey Punch fame. Yeah. Donkey Kong party. It's called Donkey Punch.
Yeah,
that's what they serve at the party.
That got me way too good. It shouldn't have. That's so stupid.
Man, I'm all out of water. We have Jamie Davis, Johnny Ray, Jason Fuzzmonger, Steve Mike from Hardly Human, Steve Rao from the 60 Cycle, Steve Rao from 60 Cycle Hum. You cut that out.
No, I'm gonna leave it.
Kevin E. Quits from He Quits Guitars. He never quits on you.
Mm-hmm.
He can't. He quits you. I used that a long time ago, I think, actually.
Yeah, bring it back.
It's back. It's classic.
Reruns.
Yeah, check out Kevin. He makes some kick-ass guitars. He made one for Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Makes some awesome guitars. Co Schneider from the Flip and Flippers. Anyways, Co Schneider from the Flip and Flippers podcast.
There you go.
Alvaro Viramontes. Brian Nutter of Nutter Guitars. Mel Chibson of Chibson Guitars. I don't know why I stopped there. Yeah, you should check out Mel Chibson.
Period in the middle of the name.
Yeah, Mel Chibson. He's in that one movie I was watching. I can't remember the name of that either.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. We have Sean Arbo from Gun Street Wiring Shop. Sean Fahey. Sean Wright from Lollygagger Effects. Juan Ortiz from Tone Hungry Effects. Mike Oxbig.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh G-Rection.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I read Johnny's name, right? Yeah, well, whatever. That's his real name. His God-given name.
His God-given name.
His Christian name.
His God-given name is Howie Felter.
Yeah, that's the...
That's just good.
Hugh G-Rection followed by Is he in yet?
Is he in yet?
Zach Hale. Eric Merrill from Elm Effects. Also, he's on Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, check it out.
YouTube superstar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got him. We locked him down. Scott Hamilton from the Effects Loop podcast. Tim Noack from Bardic Audio Devices. Jonathan J. Rizik from 12th Hour Devices. Tyler Rhines from Tyler KC Riffs. That's his Instagram handle and probably his handle on CB Radio too. Matthew Fenslaw dropping bombs in the group.
We got a studio tour YouTube video. It's too hot for YouTube. We're gonna put it on X videos. Studio tour with Matthew the King.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't understand with a ball gag in his mouth. Anyways, Michael McVeigh and Matthew Davis. That's the list.
All right, there we go. We got a little longer episode for you, but we had to do it. We got Kyle back.
Oh yeah.
Guess who's back? We will see you next time. We love you. Bye bye.
All right, bye.